Welcome back to Taco Bowler Gaming. My name is Taco Bowler. We are going to continue our tutorial run playing as Castile. And we're pretty close, I think, to wrapping up where I had wanted to go. I will mention here, and I'll mention at the end as well. In the last episode, we'll talk about like future goals that you might have in your campaign. I will mention that I probably have not been able to keep my experience from going at the speed at which I'm going. So if you're not here in 1506, that is perfectly okay. This is kind of the goal for the campaign, the ultimate goal. And eventually you will work yourself up to being able to do things that I have done here, particularly stopping Portugal from colonizing, things like that, getting out here quickly, managing your budget, things like that. Hopefully I've been able to show you something of a way of managing that, what that might look like. And hopefully, like I said at the beginning, my goal for this campaign was simply to say, this is what I've been thinking, every step of the way, this is what I'm thinking, the kinds of calculations that are going on inside my head. For the rest of the campaign, I am wanting to certainly get the colonial nations in South America going. There's a couple other things that just kind of want to show you with that, particularly here in Peru. But kind of want to get some of these missions going. We can establish La Plata. That seems to be a thing we can do really quickly. But here we go with these missions. Here are huge. They're way overpowered. 500 ducats plus goods produced, 800 ducats, 800 ducats. That's a ton. An absolute ton. It's crazy. This one's another 800 ducats later once you get the colonial Peru regions. And so you kind of have to to get this area. We're looking to get this area here. This is kind of behind the fog of war there, and also up in Mexico over here. We want to be getting that. So that's kind of where I'd be going from here, is to prepare for conquest of the Inca and then conquest of Mexico, while also colonizing around and making sure that I have colonial nations in all places. The last thing I wanted to get was that we do have this stuff going down here. I'm probably not going to create a grand fleet, at least not yet. I will eventually, if I were to continue this game, I would eventually get probably all of these kind of regular missions. Eventually, just from doing what I do, like eventually I will create, a fleet of 10 heavy ships. To go and fight, particularly when I'm facing England or something like that. But I'm not rushing to do that. And eventually, obviously I would already have this one if I had the Great Fleet, right? And then this, of course, is the trade companies. That would be like expanding over here. I might not get that one if I were just playing through, but you could very easily. Obviously, we're going to get uniting the home region from getting Portugal and Aragon in other missions, things like that. Assemble an army. We will eventually have that. Just as you go along through the game, you will get an army of larger than 80,000 if you're still alive. And then, so things like that will happen. But I am very interested in going ahead and getting buildings. It gives me 50 administrative power and gives me yearly tax income, which is big, for 25 years. I am keenly aware that we are losing some money, but I think it's worth it. Now, you can go over here to Workshop in the Buildings tab, and you'll see that some of these provinces are blue, and some of them are not. The blue ones already have a workshop in it, so I have 1, 2. I need 5 for the mission. So I'm just going to click these 3 here at the top of the page. I'm going to sort it by income, and I'm just going to click the top 3. And that will lower my total ducats to 118, but I think it will be worth it in the end. I do have a free merchant. So yeah, I think at that point we're just going to go backwards for all the places that we have the best power from the Ivory Coast. Things going into the Ivory Coast. This line here is from Brazil. So this one does go to the Ivory Coast. There is a nation collecting in it, 0.02. This one, though, Panama, I have more power. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, okay, where can I see where these lines are going back from where I have merchants active, and then which one do I have the most power within that? It appears that it is from here, so I'm just going to transfer the trade power. And that's what you're going to do with each of the merchants that you get, and you will get a new merchant for every colony that has 10, at least 10 provinces, which I think right now is probably Colombia for us. The other thing I've noticed is that I can make this a core. This is the one over here. I recall that I couldn't make it a core last time, so I don't know what has changed, but I'm not going to risk unpausing and having that, excuse me, and having that change. I also can convert Rio de la Plata if I really wanted to, but I'm already losing money, so I'm going to wait until these two colonies are done. You'll remember that I do have a colonist in those two colonies, the ones that are furthest along. I'm going to wait for them to be done, and then I'll worry about using my missionaries anywhere. So that's the plan right now. Also, if I didn't have the mission already completed, I would be trying to get a claim on this nation, because I am looking at attacking Peru next. So I would be trying to get a claim here, but the mission, the Spanish Main, gave me permanent claims on like a lot of the New World. It looks like all of the Spanish, the Spanish territory that they got in the New World, which is, it's a lot. So eventually we will go to war with these guys. You do have to be somewhat careful. You treat these guys over here, respect them, because they are actually pretty formidable, particularly because it's a lot of mountains over here. The Andes Mountains come down the west coast of South America. Because of the mountains, that's a defensive terrain for them, and there's often a lot of them. So don't treat them with kid gloves. Bring the full power of your of at least one full-sized army. So I need to make sure that I have that, which does mean that I need to wait for that to exist right now. And that's going to mean waiting for some cores to get done and waiting for some rebellions to fire and be put down. So for now, that I think is everything, and we will unpause. And I am going to attack Carib as soon as I can. They have no allies. They are not something that needs to be respected, I think. Now you, when we're ready to attack Carib, when we have that claim, we'll move them over, or when it's getting close, but not before. I can get ducats. I am not going to be hiring a skill 3 guy, even if he's 50% cheaper, so I can get the ducats, and that's 157. And because of that, I'm going to actually go ahead and do this for Rio de la Plata, because it is 2.16, but it's only 14 months. And so that's, 28, 30 ducats. I have plenty of that to cover. Just make sure you don't spend it if you do something like that. That is the big key. And so now we're just waiting here. And I think I have enough money to run 3 colonies, but not 4. So it is likely that when I get these 2 done, I will go ahead and start another one, and then move the colonists so that they're in the highest 2 out of the 3. And I also have expansion ideas going, so eventually I'll get a 3rd colonist. Not sure if I could then afford a 4th, but I think I probably could. Probably. Actually, I'll get more colonists. So that's a thing with Spain. And I'm going to go ahead and improve with Algiers. That's the last one in this run. So that's one of the things with Spain. This one right here is another colonist, and I'm 2 away from that. And so in 2 more, I will get that colonist, and then a 3rd more, I will get another colonist. And that will have 4 colonists, from which I typically run 5 colonies. That is the most that any nation can have, to my knowledge, is Spanish, with full exploration and expansion ideas. So basically, that's all we're doing. We're going to wait for all of this to be done. This is going, right? Yes, it is. And we'll go ahead and get this one. Alright, so Grain Coast is done. So I now have 3. I am going to go ahead and send this colonist down here, because I don't want to run a 4th right now. I'm making money again. That is good. So we're not going to run a 4th yet. And I have a mission fulfilled. That's probably the buildings. It is. So that gives me more money, and it gives me that. Now, this one, Build a Treasury, I will say that usually if I go for actually getting this one, it's not that great, although inflation reduction is not terrible. Usually if I go for getting this one, I will just declare war on someone that's big. Like I could declare war theoretically on France. They have a lot of allies, but if I could get, I have me and Aragon. If I could get Austria to join in, I probably could take this. If you take a look at the stuff here, obviously you would have to have everyone on your side. Otherwise, waiting for a moment when some of these guys wouldn't join in would be nice. Or like attacking Provence. Provence is just allied with France. So if I could get a claim on Provence, and then I'd be able to attack Provence and France and nobody else. If I could pull in Austria and Aragon, with that, then especially if I could pull in a Denmark with that, then you can overrun them, and you can take the 25 war score worth of money from them, and that's well on your way to 2,000 there. So oftentimes I'll try and get 2,000 by just declaring war on someone and taking the money from them, someone that's less powerful than I am. That's also a good way to get money for institutions, to embrace the institutions, is to declare war on somebody and just steal it. So we have a few more of these buildings that would be good to get in terms of money. And that one manufacturer of 0.36, that's not bad. The rest of these I would not build yet. Just personally. We have a lot of money. Are we worrying about an institution? We are worrying about an institution. We're going to build up for the institution. We're going to just save up to get the institution. And actually, in this case, with Castile, you wouldn't even need to steal the money. Just get some of these missions. Time them well. Have a couple of them go. Alright, so this one is done. Now, I would be getting a 5th colony, or a 3rd colony going, so I'm going to work down here, because La Plata is a mission, and Brazil is not. Although, Brazil does have these 2 tribes that I'm itching to declare war on. But nope, we're going to work on our missions. Because I have this troops here, I'm going to go ahead and colonize it next to them, just in case there's a rebellion of the people, rather than colonizing next to these, even though that's the more, that's 2 provinces and this is only 1. I'm going to going to colonize next to my troops where they are right now. And so we are right next to Carib. And so I will be fabricate a claim on that province. I'm going to go 1 day, and that will give me the CP. Usually, you may have to go to the end of the month, but usually it's been good on 1 day recently. And we're going to immediately attack them so that we can knock out that army before it is done, although I can just get them to concede region, which we talked about last time, concede Colombia, and they would be toast, but we're going to do it the way we're theoretically supposed to. I can, since I'm at war with someone who no longer has an army, I'm going to go ahead and mothball my forts. That will give me a lot more money. We have war taxes coming in. Let's make sure I don't need that. I don't. I get a claim on Mali. Now, normally speaking, I would maybe even do that. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it just because prestige is worth it. But I'm probably not going to declare that war. I can beat Mali, but last time I had checked, Mali was being defended by the Mamluks. They are not currently being defended by the Mamluks, though. Like, look at that army size. 8,000 infantry, 6,000 cav. There's nothing. There's no one. So actually, like I only have these guys over here. But I want everything in the Ivory Coast, which is Trarza, Kayor, Seen, and Wolof. Plus, they could give me money. This seems too good to be true, because the Mamluks are very occupied at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and declare that war. And I'm going to see if I can't walk over there, so we'll just go to the war goal right now. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to raise autonomy so that there's no longer unrest there. Hopefully that's still the case when I move my troops. I'm going to bring my troops over here and destroy the natives in that province so that we don't have any problems when the colonist gets there. And then I'm going to bring those 9,000 over here to meet up. So we have 18,000, and that should be enough to take care of that particular group. So that should work out well. And let me see. Okay, so there is still unrest and separatism even when you do the concede region. Alright, so we have the Protestant Reformation. Friesland has become Protestant. That means that the Age of Discovery is ending in 121 months. We'll switch over to the Age of Reformation. Let's talk about what that does. That means that there is now a nation that has become Protestant. And there is what we call a center of Reformation. The first 3 countries that go Protestant get a center of Reformation somewhere in their country, and then the first 3 nations that go Reformed, which is the next one that will pop up in a few years, probably within 20-25 years. The first 3 nations that go Reformed will get a center of Reformation for Reformed. These things work to convert a province nearby them. So you can see that this one has already converted Friesland's capital. That may have happened when they converted themselves. And then it seems to have converted here, and it's working on this one. So in a few time, however long that takes, it'll convert here. If when you play, you should decide, if you're playing a Catholic nation, you should decide whether you want to go Catholic, or whether you want to go Protestant or Reformed or stay Catholic before you even start. Because if you want to go Protestant, if you want to go Reformed, it pays to do it immediately. So you get that Center of Reformation, and it for free will convert your territory, within it, nearby where it particularly is. In order to convert, all you would do is click this button here, convert, and then you would click here. And you have to be at peace. You lose 100 prestige, but that will come back. In this case, you gain money. That's nice. And you get what's called religious zeal, if you see down there in that tooltip. Religious zeal for 10 years, and that is missionary strength versus heretics plus 10% missionary maintenance cost minus 33%, meaning you can convert provinces really, really quickly. It's not uncommon for provinces to take 6 or 7 months as opposed to the 36, 37, or 14 what Rio de la Plata had. Really, really fast, and a little bit cheaper for 10 years. And the goal is to allow you to switch to Protestant and convert your whole country before any kind of disaster rolls in. There are some religious-based disasters. It's not one of the ones I have up here. But there are some religious-based disasters, and the goal here is just to get you converted completely before that would happen. However, I highly, highly, highly recommend staying Catholic as Castile. And the reason for that is that there is something called the Treaty de... I'm not going to pronounce it correctly. Like the Treaty de Tordesillas or something like that. And basically, what that is that when you form a colonial nation, if you are the first Catholic nation to form a colonial nation in a given region, the Pope will declare that region belongs to you. And any other Catholic nation that decides to colonize there gets a massive opinion hurt with the Pope. And if the Pope hates you and you're Catholic, the Curia controller, which might be you as Spain or anyone else, can then get you excommunicated, which makes everyone hate you, makes your armies do a little bit worse. So it's not a very bad idea to stay Catholic as anyone who's colonizing, particularly in the New World. If you're colonizing over in Africa and India, that doesn't matter, and you can do what you want. And Protestant actually is not bad because some of its bonuses are good for colonizers. If you're going to switch, I would recommend switching to Protestant, not Reformed, just in general. I'm not big on Reformed. A few people like Reformed. I'm just not one of them. But so if you're going to switch, I would switch to Protestant, and I would do it very quickly as soon as you see that pop-up happen. But personally, I would stay Catholic, especially because, let me go back to this religious screen. See all these cardinals. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 within my 5 within my lands. But you see all these cardinals, and there's some cardinals up here. If those provinces become Protestant, that cardinal will be removed, and then could reappear. And if you're one of the few nations to remain Catholic, you get a lot of those cardinals. Every cardinal increases your papal influence. Right now, from my cardinals, I have plus 0.250. And, of course, as you grow, if you get more and more and more papal influence, you can get a lot of these. And you can wind up with all of these bonuses. You can wind up getting stability, which is that one. It costs 100 papal influence, but you can wind up getting that pretty quickly. So my recommendation is there because eventually you're going to be converting a lot. You're going to have a lot of cardinals in your land, and you're going to be able to utilize a lot of these bonuses, whereas Protestants will only get 3 of theirs. But Protestant isn't a terrible thing either. If you do decide to switch to Protestant and do it immediately. But I am going to remain Catholic. Just wanted to mention that. Now there will be something, there might be something called the Leak War. There might not be. I don't actually know for certain that that happens with the given okay, so Aragon's going to come down and help me out too. That's fantastic. Go ahead and go over here. Here comes my navy. That'll help. Now, Mali is at military level 5. I am at military level 9. So this is going to be an absolute destruction. If we head up there, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce just in case. But let's go ahead and show why I would attack Africans and not worry about these guys one iota. We're going to go ahead and move over here. In fact, those rebels are going to be harder than the official army of Mali. If you look over here, you look at the discipline, 105 to 100. You look at the morale, 4.6 to 3.4. Even the tactics, we have double the tactics, and tactics are more important than either of these. They're just usually the same, so we don't usually mess with them. But here we go. Even we have a crossing penalty. Not going to matter. They're going to be destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. You can see the losses we took, about 1,500 versus 4,300. I mean, it's just, it's not fair what we can do to them there. And we're just going to go here. This is what we're looking at. We're going to try and take, I guess that one. Try and take everything that's blue here. Especially since I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep the Mamluks from getting that big bonus back. Now I am going to force their navy out into the ocean, and I'm kind of interested to see if I can't grab another ship. The question of rights. Aragon. You do not need to take anything from Aragon. We're just going to lose our claim. So I'm going to go ahead and just slowly move in. Why don't you go there? We're going to split you, and you go. Come on, 5. Get the 5. Thank you. Just so that the one with the general is in the middle here, so that if they come in, my general's never more than 1 province away. We're going to destroy that navy very, very quickly. And see if I can't capture one of these ships. I did not, but that's okay. Now, they're going to actually be able to come over here and hop in these ports that they've taken from me. And I actually have only 2 colonies going right now, so I'm going to go ahead and start one more. I'm going to look for one that has less aggressiveness, if I can. I have no colonists to send. Oh. Well, we will recall from the highest, and we'll send this guy here. And I probably shouldn't have recalled from the highest. We're going to go ahead and move them to the highest ones, and then when this one starts up, we'll switch over. Now, I have a peace offer from Carib. We've taken that. Ooh, this is the battle going on here. And so, yeah, if you look at this, the tactics are much closer. So the rebels are actually better than the Mali army. Just something to consider. And that fort will take that back. So we're going to sue for peace. And again, we're just going to do concede Colombia because A, it'll be done faster and better. But B, I can get some more prestige from adding on some of this stuff that would not otherwise be available. And so we're going to gather our forces back over here and be ready for Peru, probably next episode. And so right now, I'm going to wait for that to be done here. And I'm going to take this guy here, move him here, we'll move him here. Now I know that my general is going to be a little bit off, but I also know that Aragon is nearby. So I think I'll be safe, but it is a dangerous move. I do recognize that. Oh, hey, coffee boom, and we have a lot of money. We're waiting for an institution. That's right. So I could claim Defender of the Faith. That is now more dangerous than it has ever been. Because if you claim Defender of the Faith, you will be called in to defend the faith. And when you are, let me make sure that is part of the region. It is part of the region. So that's what we want ultimately. And so it's just a matter of getting close enough to get that. We will have to take a fort. Aragon has decided they wish to siege that fort. And I'm going to go ahead and move my guys down here. I'm going to put the cannons down here. Try and take this fort as well. I don't actually know if there's any cannons in either of these armies. There's not. Okay. I don't know what I was saying. Do not know. So hopefully it was not important. But I am going to have to end this war in the next episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Down below, I will mention this one. They are going to be unable to core this until one of us colonizes something nearby it they can core. So I probably will go ahead and colonize this one at some point very, very soon. Just so that they can core that one and it's not sitting with the overextension in their nation. Because otherwise I'll have to deal with those rebels, because you can't necessarily trust them to be done. Now, I did take their capital fort. Is that enough? It is enough. That was enough of a fort. Okay, so we can do this. How much money are you willing to give? Okay. It's 242. We do have that. We are doing an administrative idea, but oh well. And so, again, that's kind of the borders that we're looking at. That's kind of all we want from Mali, and we will want to connect all of this. And we'll want some over here, but yeah, this is what we want in the Upper West. So hopefully you're on your way to getting that, but I'll see you next time.